Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about how you're actually the original JO?
How am I the original JO? Um, well, my name is Justin Onyeka, initials JO. And I think when you're growing up, when you're young, your friends obviously look at your names or your character, your personality, and create a nickname or a moniker for you. And mine was a combination of either JO or Brother J. But JO was the main one, I suppose. So yeah, so ever since kind of like my college days or uni days, I've been known as JO by a lot of my friends and associates and stuff.
Yeah. So what was your reaction when hearing Jordan like essentially just take the name?
A couple of things, I suppose. One, I was like, you know what? It's time to cease with that. It's the next generation. Just don't even bother fighting that. Then I thought, oh boy. But I think the funny thing is, I think some of my friends took it a bit more harder than me. You know, some of them kind of playfully stepped to him. Like, no, you can't just come and take that name. You haven't paid your dues. You know where that came from. You know where that name came from. You can't just step in and just take that name. So I think it's more my friends, but I was cool with it because at the end of the day, you know, I'm him and he is me. So whether it's me that assumes a moniker or him, for me it's just one of the same.
Okay. What do you think about him not using profanity in his music?
I think it's commendable. It's notable, but I haven't been a harsh advocate of no profanity at all.
Yeah.
Kind of like on that Will Smith type set, because I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with it if it's used appropriately. I know that may seem like an odd thing to say, but in terms of like expression, in terms of like feeling, in terms of like context, you know, I know a lot of rappers who don't necessarily use profanity a lot, but occasionally do use it for like maybe emphasis or the context that they're using it. So, so in that respect, I admire him for not kind of like using it so casually, which is good because then it kind of like challenges you to kind of like step up your game and think where you're coming from lyrically and what it is you want to say. But I don't have anything against people using, you know, profanity per se.
Yeah. Okay. What do you like about his music?
I like the fact, the thought that he puts into it, and that he approaches it, that he's trying to challenge himself and tries to move on from what he's done previously, rather than just remaining and recycling things. So I'd like to think that he's always questioning what he can do better and demanding that he does do better, and hopefully trying to broaden his scope of what it is that he, you know, that he rhymes about.
Okay. What's been your influence on him through music?
I think that I'd like to think that he kind of explores and listens to a lot of different things. A lot of different things. I mean, couple of my favorite producers, pop producers, are DJ Premier and RZA, and they are people who, although they're very notable for their impact and influence within hip hop, a lot of the music that they listen to is not hip hop. Yeah, because it kind of like broadens their mind. It kind of like challenges them. It opens them up to like the possibility of music and what they can do. So I'd like to think that in our conversations, in our discussions, that at least planted that seeds or encouraged it in terms of either the library of music that I have or the magazines or what have you, that he kind of like approaches and investigates a lot of different, you know, kind of like artists. I think that's the only thing I think you could you know hope for. That he has like an open mind.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say your favorite song is?
Ooh. Favorite song. Um, I like. Okay, let me see more. I like Accurate. I like a lot. I tend to like a lot of songs sometimes that don't do like verse,
Yeah.
chorus, kind of like hook, bridge, and what have you.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of like short, compact, almost like a bit like an interlude, and I like that. Quite a lot. Maybe I would have shot a different kind of video, but yeah, I'd like that. Um, that was one that kind of like had me thinking a bit.
Okay. What? Well, do you think that winning their Teen Dream competition opened a lot more doors for him?
It did. I think it gave him a lot. I think first and foremost, it gave him a lot of confidence, a lot more confidence. Kind of like reaffirmed or consolidated his kind of like belief in himself and his talents. It it opened up doors in the sense that it's an accolade, it's an international accolade, and that's good. Even though people may not have heard of Teen's Dream, the fact that he was recognised, in the US by an organisation, that he's flown out there, that he went on radio out there, with one of the top DJs out there was a really good thing. So I think it was good, definitely good for him, kind of like personally, in terms of what it is that he's trying to do.
Okay. I know he had issues in controlling his temper in the past. Would you just like to speak on that? Just...
I think it's a combination of maybe frustration, trying to express himself, and there wasn't anything bad in that. It's just good that he found a creative and expressive way of channeling that.
Yeah.
Saying how he felt, and even still up until now, kind of searching for that place of who he is, of who he ultimately is. Because I still think he's still trying to get there, and it's trying to kind of crystallize that. So the anger issues are not necessarily a bad thing because they've created and they've produced, something.
Yeah.
It's just that how he uses that, any kind of like frustration that he has. I mean, he probably had, a lot of tough times personally, some of which he may not have talked about openly, but he found ways of doing it through his music. So I'd like to think that the music is a way whereby he kind of channels that, but also challenges himself in terms of, who am I? How can I articulate myself? How can I develop myself more?
Yeah. What would you say his work ethic is like?
His work ethic is relentless, intense, very focused. When he wants to, when he's working on something, it's like everything else kind of like shuts out. I mean, that has its good and its bad points, but he's very kind of like focused, very demanding of those around him, who he's working with, and I suppose he's demanding, I suppose, of those around him because he's very demanding of himself. So, yeah, very relentless, demanding, focused.
Um, would you say that university will help him getting more involved, I guess, in the music industry? It may not even be through rapping, but through music in general.
I would like to think that maybe professionally, technically, theoretically wise, it will add more skills more skills to his kind of like repertoire. Personally, I'm sure it will. He may have gained something else from actually being at university outside of London. Okay, different perspective. But I'm hoping that uni life just in general will develop him artistically and hopefully still develop him personally.
Okay. With that photo of him holding the mic when he was younger, did you think that for looking back at that he'll be then involved in music like he is now?
No, no, no. Never thought of that. You'd like to think that your kind of like genes or your influences, because obviously I come from like a media, journalism, entertainment background. You'd like to think that would rub off on your kids, but I didn't think that he'd be having a career as an MC or a rapper or anything. I just thought at that time because he'd always liked to speak and we'd play around with words and everything like that. But with that picture, with him there holding the mic, I never did think that 7, 8 years, 9 years down the line, that he'd be seriously writing his own, rhymes, making his own videos, producing his own tracks and whatever. No, I wouldn't think of that. I'd like to think that he'd be doing something artistically, creatively, but I don't know. I didn't think I'd see that.
Okay. Just lastly, with his live events, he seems like he always has a lot of energy. Would you say that's not good, but like, how do you see it in a way?
I think it's very good, and I think the same way that an artist focuses on their product and their music and his tracks, I think also performing live, I think that's just like the essence. And it's great that he has a passion for that he connects with the audience, and that is something that he has to maintain and that he has to develop and that he has to thrive on. Because even if he stops making, records or tracks, if he has that locked down, a live performance, he will always be an artist. He will always be kind of like revered, as an artist, because that live performance, that connection, that is it, I suppose, in its purest form, where you're just kind of like laying yourself bare. So, I hope that he does develop that. I hope he does improve that. I hope he does keep working at that, and continue to look at the people who are great, live, but performers, from like your Run DMCs to your KRS-Ones, Tribe Called Quest, Fugees, all of those guys, The Roots, all of those guys who thrive on live performance, who connect with their audience. So that live performance should never ever be underestimated for any artist, hip hop or otherwise.
Okay, thank you.